Good morning again, everyone. We continue our day at the monastery, a 12-hour live retreat today, Saturday, November 17th. It's not 8 a.m., it's actually 10 a.m. now. And we're going to partake in our discussion on the first exercise and another meditative session. Hello, hello, hello again. So we are on board this morning, and in our satsang this morning, in our meditation, we were talking about judgment. And we were talking about what judgment does, and especially what judgment does to ourselves. Because it is our own self-judgment, and we're going to discuss another word that is heavily involved with judgment here shortly. And then discuss the exercise as well. It is our self-judgments that are the first place that we must deal with things. If we don't deal with our self-judgments, and I'm going to ask Kelly if you found it and you're on to make a comment as well, so that we have something on the screen there to that I know that you're able to connect as well. And hopefully Kelly will look after that right away. And we're going to move on with this. So there's another word that's heavily involved with judgment, and that word is condemnation. And that is really where the problem comes in. And it is literally co-damnation. Not only do we cooperatively condemn or damn the other person, but in the process we damn ourselves. It is the condemnation that causes us all the big problems with judgment. You know, it's perfectly okay to say that something does not serve, that something does not help us out, that as it turns out, it did not benefit us in the way that we expected. But that is a limited point of view. And what we do with those limited points of view is we then attach damnation to it. We condemn others based on the judgment we have formed. And where this is most harmful, most difficult, most problematic, is when you condemn yourself over your own judgments about yourself. So, now is the time to take a look at what you have written down in this first exercise. Look at your judgments, and having taken a slightly expanded view, looking at them again and seeing how, hello Sandra, nice to see you back again. And we're just getting started on the whole thing about the judgment and what we wrote down this morning. And I hope that everyone has completed the exercise for their own benefit. Keep in mind that it will not benefit myself. It is to benefit you that we do this. So the other word involved around judgment, as I was just speaking about, is of course condemnation or co-damnation. We literally damn ourselves in the process of damning another. Why? Because we're literally all one. So let's look at this a little more closely at what we do to ourselves. So we create through our own thoughts in our head, and those thoughts may be based upon our programming. Hello, Debbie. Nice to see you back. And it's now 6 p.m. over there your time. Okay, I'm getting this now. I've caught on to the time change. And it is this condemnation, especially against ourselves, that is most problematic. So we create through our own thoughts a judgment of our behavior or of what's happened to us. And then we, in typical fashion, condemn ourselves for it. We damn ourselves to our own judgment. We create our own hell. And we live within the hell of our own judgment and condemnation. So now is an opportunity, if anyone would like to write a little bit about what they've discovered or wishes to talk about one of the points of their life that they feel is something that they're judging about themselves and condemning themselves for, that you feel you're not able to let go. You know, I often equate it to this. If you have a 50,000-pound baby, and that 50,000-pound baby is running around ripping the roofs off of houses to get to the refrigerators to get milk, do we judge and damn or condemn the baby? Now, we're not saying the baby doesn't have to be stopped, are we? Because clearly, in our reasonable judgment, we can say that it is not valuable, it does not serve anybody to have a 50,000-pound baby ripping the roofs off of houses to get to milk. You still have to stop the baby. But does the baby deserve to be condemned, to be damned for its behavior by everyone else around it? And of course the answer is no. The baby is unaware. The baby is not capable yet at the level of consciousness it has to understand that what it's doing is causing harm, fear, confusion to others. One of our members had hit the nail right on the head during the morning session, and that was, we are all a product of our circumstance or our circumstances. And this is absolutely true until your level of awareness gets to the point where you can supersede your circumstances. We buy in. Hello, Carol. Sorry, I just saw that Carol had popped up too. Nice to see you back, Carol. So we literally buy into the idea, right? We've been sold the idea that even if you're unaware, even if your consciousness isn't where it needs to be, whatever you do is worthy to be judged, and then we condemn or we damn. We never consider those circumstances. And it doesn't matter whether we're talking about a murderer. It doesn't matter whether we're talking about a rapist. What we're talking about are our fellow brothers and sisters who, due to their circumstances, due to the level of awareness they are at, due to their unconsciousness, are acting out from the only place they find possible at the time. Where do we have room in that to condemn? Where do we have room in that to blame or make judgments? And as I said, we have to turn this onto ourselves, because it is ourselves that we judge the most. And we are our own God judging us. Most of us, especially if you've come up in a Christian background or you have been exposed to Christianity, you know all about a judgmental God. And it doesn't matter how much they talk about the loving side of it. That loving side only extends a short distance. Screw up, fail to follow the rules, and you will be condemned to hell. And we do the same. We condemn ourselves to the hell of our own minds, to the hell of our own perceptions about ourselves first and foremost. This is where all judgment and all condemnation must disappear first and foremost. And it is not easy. It's very easy to judge ourselves. It's very easy to look back in hindsight, which is always 20/20. To look back at our new level of consciousness and see how we behaved at a lower level of consciousness. You know, part of it is being dead honest with yourself. And so many people have a real issue with this, especially when it comes to expressing that out to others. They always feel there's something they need to hide, something they need to be embarrassed about or ashamed about. I will take the first step and let you know that I judged and condemned myself for a very long time over much of my behavior as a soldier. Whether I felt I was in the right to do that or had orders or didn't have orders, there were many times where I caused unnecessary pain and suffering and death to other people at my hand that could have been avoided, that did not need to be. I am forever grateful for those experiences. I am forever grateful for the people who came into this world and chose to sacrifice this current physical existence in order to teach me, to impart upon me the lessons I needed to learn. If I continue to judge myself and condemn myself at this point of my life for that behavior, I would be a mess, as so many of our veterans are today. So much of this comes from our own judgments, our own condemnations. We need to let go of this. We need to understand that just like that 50,000-pound baby ripping the roofs off to get milk, the baby doesn't deserve to be destroyed. The baby doesn't deserve to be killed. The baby doesn't deserve to be punished. But there is responsibility. Responsibility allows you to grow. It allows a path forward. It allows a new you to be born out of that judgment and condemnation that you would put upon yourself. And instead remove that judgment, remove that condemnation, see yourself as that growing child in awareness, and take it easier on yourself. You know, one of the things I used to say to Kelly, and I've said it to her many times, is that it's very easy at your current state of awareness to look at others in lesser states of awareness and somehow judge yourself to be better or superior to them in some way. So easy to forget that if not in this lifetime, in another lifetime prior, that we too were at that level of unconsciousness. The evolution of us as individuals and as a species are forever linked, because in truth there is only one within the one within the one within the one. One species on one planet, one people in one galaxy amongst a multitude of galaxies, all one within one within one within one within the one. This is the truth of our experience in our journey here. So today, for today's meditation, I'm going to just, Kelly's giving me the signal. Yeah, if you want to post here, it will absolutely be public. Debbie has asked if I've asked you to share, and absolutely, if you're willing to share on this page publicly, please do. It is a great exercise to free yourself, to speak out into the world, to let go of what you think someone else is going to think about what you're going through. You know, you will notice one thing about me if you're around for any length of time with these videos. I will tell you anything and everything, quite frankly, quite openly, quite honestly, that's ever occurred to me in my life. Why? Because I hold no judgment or condemnation on myself. I do hold responsibility, and in that responsibility, I am evolving consciously. I wish and want that conscious evolution for you. And a beautiful big step of it can be making yourself transparent. Allow everyone to see everything. Allow people to know when something moves you and it brings you to tears. And you've seen that happen to me right here on these videos. Do not be afraid to share those experiences that you have in the past judged and condemned yourself for. And instead, open yourself. Expose yourself. You will find that in that exposure, you are not lost. You are not reduced. You, in fact, will gain your own personal power back in the very act of becoming transparent, exposing you to not only yourself, but to the rest of you around you. You see, every aspect of our existence, at the conscious mind level, at the mind level, at the level of thought, is totally based upon all the things that we've experienced prior to that. And it can be very difficult to break your own mold. It can be very difficult to be willing to open that door, to allow yourself to be exposed. You know, I'm a prime example of that. You know, as a soldier, as a sniper, my job was to stay hidden. My job was to not be seen, not be heard, not be found. We all play this game with each other. We all play this game of hiding in the jungle, staying behind the tree, burying ourselves in the ground. We try to hide that which we are, and we do so because it is us who has judged ourselves. And in that judgment that we place upon ourselves, we reenact that initial fall from divinity that the Bible would talk about and of course misinterpret in the process. We become ashamed of ourselves and we feel we need to wrap leaves around ourselves. Why? Because the leaves hide. And it wasn't about hiding our sex, it was simply to hide ourselves from being exposed, from being naked, from being free. Allow yourself to be naked. Allow yourself to be free. Debbie says, I judge myself for being dependent on her friend. And she says she feels bad about it. Debbie says, I feel I should or must resolve it. And the first step, of course, is not to judge yourself. Do not condemn yourself. Accept where you are today, right here, right now. This is probably the most profound message I can relay to you this entire day, is to accept you as you right now, with all your perceived so-called faults, which again is a judgment you place upon yourself, all your gifts. You are a unique example of the Creator in this universe, and you will never be seen again, and you will have never been seen before. That which you are is ever evolving and can never be compared to any other piece of that evolution, except in the realization that we all reflect the whole back to each other. Accepting where you are today is the beginning of no judgment, is the beginning of dropping condemnation. Right now, it's okay to feel dependent on someone. It's all right. You can realize that you must work to move past this dependence. But it is only when you can accept the dependent state that you are in, when you can allow yourself to be 100% honest with yourself and look deeply at that dependency and see where it arises from. Oftentimes, these dependencies are related to our childhood, related to a little piece inside of ourselves that doesn't feel it was loved enough or cared for enough or treated correctly. And we let these judgments and condemnations sink into ourselves as if it is our fault. And it is never, ever a fault. How do you resolve dependency on somebody? And this is the same way we resolve anything. We begin by looking at it honestly. We begin by accepting that in our current level of consciousness, we are dependent on somebody else. This is not to judge yourself with. This is not to make yourself feel bad about. For it is not until you can be okay with your dependency at your current state of awareness that you have the opportunity to begin to move beyond that dependency. And the way to move beyond that dependency is to begin to look more and more deeply and understand where that dependency arises from. You know, in certain ways, we are all dependent on each other. And we will never escape that. That is part of being one species, one whole on this planet. We are, and we're going to talk more about this at lunch when we have a mindful meal together. But in reality, there is roughly 1,000 people behind a plate of food that you have in front of you. So dependency on others is a must. It is the dependency to the exclusion of our own will, to our own sense of self, that we must always be wary of. And if we find ourselves in that place, all as it is doing is serving in our awareness to show us where we still need to grow. It is asking us to look more deeper at that dependency, asking us to look more deeply at the issues underlying that dependency, and then begin to work through those issues. You know, I have been so fortunate and so blessed to speak with many of you face to face, and the only thing I see is absolutely wonderful people doing their very best to grow and to move ahead consciously in whatever way they can. And that is all that is required of your existence. There is no finish line. There truly is nothing to resolve, and certainly nothing to condemn or feel bad about. What must be is a surrender, a letting go, a trusting that even in your dependency, that this dependency is serving you. And in your awareness of that dependency, the path to healing is already beginning. You're already on that trail towards not being dependent. It is a gradual trail. It is a trail that will take time and take some effort. Because as I've said before, we can be faced with a lifetime of programming behind us. Be gentle with yourself. Do not expect to erase that programming overnight, and give up should and should not. You should not be dependent may be a true statement at some point in your life. But for right now, where you're at, if you find yourself to be dependent upon somebody, realize that dependency. Be okay with that dependency. Explore the basis of that dependency. And just like that 50,000-pound baby, don't judge. Don't beat up the baby. You know one day you must stop the dependent behavior. And it is a process. And the day you become free from that dependency will be right now. No hurry, no timeline, no finish line. Just a day-to-day honest effort in evolving yourself forward, in becoming more and more clear about the truth of who you really are. I'm just going to rip down through the comments here one more time. Kelly says, I judge myself for the failed relationships that I feel I've caused in my life. Marriages, kids, parents, friends, church ties. I understand that the circumstances that my life provided brought me to the now, or brought me to now, but I still carry guilt. I just want to fix everything and everybody. I just want everyone to love and accept each other, even if we do not agree with each other's beliefs or actions. We have to look at this one that Kelly wrote, and it's very true. You know, Kelly judges herself because she feels it is her who has caused the failed relationships. Kelly also has a lot of passive power and control issues. We all do. These are the ideas, and it comes out in our language. I just want to fix everything and everybody. I just want everyone to love and accept each other, even if we don't agree. I would love that too. I would love to live in a world where that is the case. That world starts with you. That world stops with your willingness to forgive and forget. The willingness to understand that there is nothing that we cause in our existence. We are taking part of our existence. We are life itself expressing itself. And we are certainly never responsible for what others choose to think or believe. You know, when we look at ourselves closely and we see the condemnation and the judgment we would place upon ourselves, now understand that there is a world full of people who are judging and condemning themselves too. And then they are taking that consciousness and bringing that consciousness out into the world, out into the exterior of themselves, and they're noticing these judgments coming back. They're noticing these damnations and condemnations. And they wish fervently for people to behave the way that we feel is right or correct. We forget so easily that, as our group member said this morning, everybody is a victim of their own circumstances until they become consciously aware. And then you cease to be a victim of your circumstances, but you become a victor over your circumstances. Your circumstances provide a base filter, a base point from which you come at life. Your growth and evolution from those circumstances, from that base point, and don't get me wrong, there is nothing wrong with religion at all. Religion serves a purpose. Religion introduces you to the idea that there is something more than you out there, something larger than, something greater than. Allow yourself the fairness, the non-judgmental, non-condemning mirror to look upon yourself and see where those things in your life have caused you to be programmed with judgments about yourself, with ideas of what should and should not be. Carol says, I am Roman Catholic, French Canadian, women guilt that have been brought down in my programming. I'm letting go and none too soon. Yes, this is absolutely right. I mean, and I hate to say it, but French Canadian is right up there with Greek and a number of nations where the whole male machismo thing has been taken way too far. And of course, Coming up Roman Catholic, well, you're guilty right from the get-go, because the only only woman that the Roman Catholics really care about is Mary. And if you're not Mary, well, you're not Mary. That's just it. Yeah, I face that myself. I did. I was brought up Roman Catholic as well. I was an altar boy. I was destined to become a priest. Didn't work out that way. If it would have worked out that way, that would have been fine too. But it didn't come to be in that life. The point is this. The first step is letting go of your own condemnation, letting go of your own judgment, letting go of should or should not. I should be this way or should not be this way. Wherever you are right now is exactly the way you need to be to grow, to evolve. Allow yourself to do so consciously. Allow yourself to do so without the condemnation and judgment. For indeed, your growth is assured. Your journey is never in doubt. Our meditation this morning is all about healing that. Yes, Carol says sinners from birth. Exactly, right? You can't win with that one, can you? You were a sinner already the day you came here, and you would not believe the number of people who still live under that judgment and condemnation. Let us free ourselves from that. Let us free ourselves from our own judgments, our own condemnations. To do so, we are going to use the mantra Hari Om. I surrender. I love you. Who are we surrendering to? What are we surrendering to? We are surrendering to our resistance that we have about our own existence. So we're going to drop the resistance to our existence through surrender. And probably, if not assuredly, the most important part of this, I love you. You are saying this to yourself. You are saying this to that 50,000-pound baby you're carrying around. You're saying this to the part of you that's ripping off the roofs of your life and busting open the refrigerator, scrabbling for the milk. You're saying this to all your self-doubts, your self-judgments, your self-condemnations. I surrender. I let them go. I love you. I love you. The remover, another name for Vishnu. Vishnu is an aspect of Brahman. In the Hindu faith, you would think on its surface that there are thousands of gods, and they are not gods per se, they are aspects of that one divinity. Today, we are going to use the aspect of divinity, the remover, the destroyer, that which destroys, that which empties our cup and makes room through that surrender, through that self-love, for the grace of our awareness to seep into ourselves, energize ourselves, enlighten our being. Letting go of it all. With that, I would ask you to find that comfortable position again. Ensure your back is upright. not straight, but its natural, comfortable curve. Together again, we will meet at that gateless gate. All of us so-called sinners, all of our judgments, all of our co-damnations, our condemnations, our negative judgments. We place them upon the altar. We choose to surrender it all. I let go of my self-judgment. I let go of my self-condemnation. I let go of blame. I let go of guilt. I let go of fear. with every intonation of the mantra. Allow yourself to feel lighter. With every repetition. We find ourselves sliding out from underneath the weight we have placed upon ourselves. We are becoming free. Free from programming. Free from judgment. Free from blame. Free from guilt and fear. Lighter and lighter. Allow the sensation of weightlessness. Allow the sensation of freedom. I will not be bound by the judgments I mistakenly place upon myself. I will no longer buy into the guilt. I will no longer be sold the fear. I give up the concept that there is something I should or should not be at this moment. I surrender. I love you. Free. Free at last. Free to be me. The me right here, right now. The true me. Slowly, gently allow yourself to return. Feel the sense of lightness as you gently open your eyes. Surrendering in every aspect of your existence, letting go. Letting go of your limiting beliefs, your limiting judgments, your limiting condemnations that you place upon yourself and your life. When we do this mantra, and you can do this mantra at any time, And just allow that sense of lightness. No more guilt, no more fear, no more condemnation. A responsibility towards oneself. Every aspect of your life at this moment has been specifically chosen, specifically designed to help you on your journey right here, right now. Wherever you are is exactly where you need to be in your level of consciousness and in your physical existence. The second exercise, which we will discuss after our mindful eating session at 12 noon. And I would remind everyone, if you wish to participate, we are going to come on live at 12. And we are going to have a discussion and a mindful meal together. Bring your own food. BYOF. The second lesson for today, and this lesson is also in relation to the way we treat ourselves. Because no matter what you may think about life, life is all about you. It truly, truly is all about you. Wherever you stand in this universe, you stand at the center of all creation. No matter which direction we point a telescope out into space, we are the perceived center of all creation. You in your conscious awareness are that divine creator looking out upon its creation. The second lesson for today, the second exercise, is to again pick up that pen and paper and to write down, let's say, anywhere between 3 or 5 of the major incidents in your life. And I want you to look at them from a higher point of view now. I want you to re-examine the trials and tribulations, to re-examine your thoughts, and to look back and to realize that no matter how you may have judged yourself, what has occurred has served you. It has brought you to this next point, this next level of being, this next level of consciousness. Do this exercise on paper. The more honest you are with yourself, the more you are going to get out of it. The point here is to understand that our judgments are limited and narrow and based upon our own mindset, and we must start to let them go. We will see you all at 12 noon. For those who wish to participate, we'll be back on the group page here live. We're going to have a discussion on mindful eating. We're going to experience mindful eating together. And then we will talk about the second exercise and prepare everyone for the third exercise of the day. Much love. Namaste. We will see you in a little more than an hour. Take care for now.